What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a look at vintage mint on card packaged action figures for the Star Wars line by Kenner. And we've got everything from 12 backs all the way through the Power of the Force line as usual. And one seller sold off in an auction for each item his entire C-3PO run, which was a pretty epic run, and I had to cover those for sure. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters. You guys allow this channel to be what it is today. Those of you that support the channel through Patreon and through my supers on YouTube, I really appreciate you guys doing that. It means a lot to me, and I just want to say thanks again for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at some awesome mint on card action figures, both graded and ungraded. First is a 12-back A C-3PO graded CAS 80. And the subscores were 80, 85, 90. What a stunner. And this one was unpunched, no price sticker. And I was a little surprised it didn't go for higher. It sold for $935.77 on 24 bids this past Thursday. And this one was in Canada. And it was $30 shipping. So let's call that about $970 US for a 12-back A graded CAS 80. Yes, please. That would be a price I would pay in a heartbeat. It was a beautiful clear blister, really nice condition. Every bit deserving of an 80 grade. So great deal on that one. Same seller also had a 12-back B that was ungraded. And this one sold in an auction for $493.88 plus shipping. So a little over $500 after shipping on that one. Very good deal. It looked to be in great shape overall. I mean, I can't tell you what it would grade. Just judging by the photos, I would guess it would grade at least an 80, if not an 80 plus. Outside chance at an 85 maybe, but looks great. I take it back. So here's my concern right here. This right here is concerning. I forgot about this. I pulled it up and I remember this, and then I forgot, and now I remember again after seeing the photo. So I don't know if this is a reseal or not, but let's take a look at the item description here. No cracks or dings. Back of card has a little light creasing. Overall, excellent condition. So my gut says that, and this is a seller that I've dealt with in the past personally. I think if he knew if this was a resale, he would say something. To me, it looks like a resale, or at worst, or at best, I mean, it's pulling off the card, which is possible. So I don't know. To me, I would stay away from it if I was looking for a grade quality one. But I forgot about that when I was looking at it originally in the auction. I watched it just to make sure to include it as part of this C-3PO run that this seller sold. But it's either a reseal or it is, just pulling away from the card. And that's probably what kept the price down for a 12-back B. Next up was a 32A, and this one was graded CAS 80. This one did have some scuffs on the front of the card there. The scores were 80, 80, 85. I would argue that it's probably a little overgraded, assuming that those scuffs are on the card and not on the case. To me, it looks like it's on the card. I would probably give it a subscore of a 75 for the card, given that scuff there and given some scuffing next to the ESB Star Wars logo. So probably a little overgraded in terms of the card score. Is it still an overall 80? I mean, I've certainly seen 80s from AFA that are in similar or worse condition that still got the 80. But I still think the subscore on this one should have been a card score of a 75. Blister 80, figure 85. Probably still gets the overall 80. But my personal opinion, probably a little overgraded, at least on one subscore. And it sold for $367. I mean, that's a great deal. Great deal. I don't really care looking at it now and looking at what it sold for. $367 for a 32-back C-3PO that you know is legit after being, going through authentication. With the price sticker punched example, $367 is kind of hard to pass up, given that this is something that probably should sell for $367 ungraded. So good deal on that one, in my opinion. Next up, here's a hard to find one. This is the 47-back free 4-LOM offer, graded AFA 80, archival case, clear blister, unpunched with a price sticker. And, you know, to me, I've always found the 47 back, I think that's the debut card for the removable limbs. And I've always found that one to be kind of hard to find and tends to go for big money. It had 285 subscores, but 175 subscore. So maybe that kept the price down a little bit. I vaguely remember in the back of my head, again, I'm going on AFG 47-year-old memory here. So who knows if I'm legit or not in terms of this price. But I vaguely remember an AFA 80 Plus selling for over $800 last year. Maybe a different market environment, I don't know. But for an AFA 80 archival case for $564, that to me seems like a pretty good deal for, I think, is the debut card for C-3PO removable limbs on the 47 back. Here was an AFA 8577 back A. Now, it was labeled, again, as a clear blister, but it looks like it started to yellow ever so slightly. Still, it's an AFA 85, straight 85s for the subscore, unpunched, no price sticker. So it's still going to go for big money, which it did at $413, despite having slightly yellow. It's only very slight on the blister. So great looking image on the card back there. It really pops. And, you know, if you can live with a little bit of yellowing to the blister, then $413 is not the worst deal in the world, given the straight 85s for the subscores. Here was also a 79 back A, and this one was graded AFA 85. Again, graded with no yellow designation, although it looks to me in the close-up of the blister that it has yellowed slightly. So, again, some people don't really care about that. I think all Return of the Jedi US card backs are going to yellow anyway, so I don't know if it really matters. But that one sold for $275, which, you know, the 77 back straight 85s and very similar condition to the blister sold for $413. This one had an 80 subscore for the card, but still 285 subscores, overall 85 for $275. And I would argue that the 79 back is probably a little harder to find than the 77 back for C-3PO removable limbs. So pretty good deal on that one as well. Here was another good deal. I was tempted on this one because this is a tri-logo that I do not have. I think I decided that it wasn't for me because the bag, the C-3PO removable limbs, comes with that bag inside a separate bag, and it's in front of the figure instead of what's usually behind the figure. And so it kind of detracts from it aesthetically to me. I think it gets an 80 overall score. Beautiful example overall with the KB Toys price sticker. But I just was like, you're going to be looking at a bag. You're not even really going to be looking at the figure. So I kind of stayed away. It still sold for $341, which I think is probably fair, given that I think it pretty easily gets an overall 80. There's two dings on the blister, but overall very good structural kind of condition to the blister, which are known to be pretty fragile. So $341 on that tri-logo. We had the Power of the Force version, AFA 80 Plus, yellow blister, obviously, unpunched, no price sticker. That one also sold in an auction for $285 on 33 bids, plus $30 shipping. So a little over $300, $315 for an AFA 80 Plus condition, Power of the Force C-3PO. And then I think this is the last one that this seller had in his C-3PO run. This was an ungraded Kenner Canada version of the Droids C3PO. That one sold for $643, which, again, I think that's actually a pretty good deal. The card wasn't perfect. It had a little crease in the upper left-hand corner. It also had some some thumbtack prints from where it was probably hung up on a wall. So I don't know if it's necessarily gradable, but it certainly is a nice addition to your collection. I would just do exactly what this seller did for his collection, which is put it in a sliding acrylic case. Displays great. Displays great on your shelf, and you don't have to get it graded because I think it would, because of those thumbtack holes and that crease, probably maxes like a 60 with those holes in it, maybe a 70. I don't know how they grade holes inside the inside the card back on the card back that are not factory applied. So anyway, great looking display, $643. You think about it, like an AFA 80 is probably in the ballpark of $1,100 to $1,200, so you're getting it for about half that price. Pretty good deal on that one for a budget-friendly Kenner Canada version of the Droids C3PO. Next up, I got some 12 backs. We've got a 12 back C R2D2 graded AFA 80. This is the one that has the single label, or the single score, no subgrades on this one. So this is an earlier AFA grade where they graded a lot more harsh, apparently. But this was a beautiful 12 back C R2D2 $12.01 was the final sales price on that. That's about the going rate for an AFA 80 R2D2. I always say about $1,200 these days for that. So that was right in line with market. This was a beauty. This one was the small head Han Solo on a 12-back C graded AFA 85. So several of you asked me, what's this one going to go for? What's this one going to go for? I have no idea, but I know that the Han Solo small head on a 12-back is very desirable. It's one of those kind of card backs and figure variant combinations that people really seek out. And the price didn't disappoint. I think I told several people $2,200 to $2,400. You can probably safely bet on that. It sold for $26. So even I was a little bit low on that one, but it was an AFA 85. So I'm not terribly surprised that it sold for what it did. Next up, same seller also had an AFA 85 C3PO. This is the 12-back C. This one sold for $1,578. Another big number on that, but certainly a gorgeous figure and another high-grade example with a single grade without the subscores. Next up, this seller, Trump Crush, who had the C3POs, also had an AFA 80 21-back B Hammerhead. This one was unpunched with a target price sticker, and it was a beautiful clear blister. That one sold for $612.90. Very good deal on that one. That's a price I'd pay in a heartbeat. I just saw a 21-back A for Hammerhead. That was also an AFA 80, so slightly different card, same grade. That one sold for over $700. So that was a good deal at $612.90. He also had a 31-back B offerless Hammerhead graded AFA 80 with the price sticker and again unpunched. That one sold for $565.55. Another price I would have paid in a heartbeat if I had been looking for a nice Hammerhead. Beautiful condition. I just love the way Hammerhead looks offerless. That's just a great image for him inside the cantina, chugging his cantina blue milk spiked with something that's going to take the edge off. And it looks like, if you look at his face there, look at his eyes. Look at Hammerhead's eyes. The edge has clearly been taken off already. That dude is messed up. He has had one too many drinks in the cantina. Wow, what an awesome looking card image though. So $565 took that one home. Here was an AFA 75 plus tri-logo AT-AT driver, and I'm laughing because one of my Patreon supporters and good buddies tried to buy this one in an auction and he lost by $5. Welcome to the club, Matt. Welcome to the club. That happens to me all the time on eBay. So it is what it is. What are you going to do, man? You know, you got to take your lumps sometimes. But it was a beautiful unpunched example. No price sticker, AFA 75 plus. This is the rounded edged blister. And I've got one with the etched edges for the AT-AT driver. So the two different variations for the AT-AT driver on the Palatoy Tri-Logo. 80, 75, 80 were the subscores on that one. So that one did sell for $482.62. We had a Han Solo 77 back that I sent out to my Patreon supporters, and I assume that one of y'all bought this. This was the harder to find camel lapel for Han Solo trench coat. Usually the 77 backs for Han Solo trench coat come with the plain lapel. That's been my experience anyway. This one was an unpunched example with the price sticker. It was listed for $229. The best offer accepted on that was $218 plus $10 shipping. Next up was a clear blister squid head, and this one was sold by Toy Scout. Unpunched, really clean condition, outside chance at an 85 overall grade. Beautiful. That one sold for $226.50, another really good deal. That one sold in an auction, 39 bids, but crystal clear blister, as good as it gets right there. That was a very nice example for $226.50. I've got some Power of the Force to round things out. We've got an ungraded Lando Calrissian. The blister on this one only had very faint yellowing to it. This one was unpunched with a price sticker, and that one sold for $301.55. Great deal on that one, if you ask me. The blister on that is very close to clear blister. So really nice example there for $300. Here was a yellowed blister Jawa that was sold at an auction. Nice crystal clear images for the listing, and probably why it sold so high. It sold for $325 and probably has an outside chance at an 85 grade, but at a minimum, I would say this is probably a good 80 plus grade. So Power of the Force Jawas usually do sell for around $300 to $400. This one sold at $325. Punched example, no price sticker again. And then we had an Amanaman from that same seller as the Lando. This one had heavy yellowing to the blister, no price sticker, and it was unpunched. That one sold in an auction for $416 on 27 bids. Probably about an 80 grade on that one, so good deal there. And then finally, we had a Luke Skywalker Stormtrooper in disguise. This one was unpunched, and I think a Patreon supporter bought this one because he reached out for some guidance on the price on this one. And it did have some frosting to the head there, which we both noted. And it was an unpunched example, no price sticker. It was listed for $1,000. I say, quite honestly, it's probably worth about $900, and that's what it sold for. It sold for $900 in a make an offer situation. To me, that's a great price. It probably grades out at about an 80. You could stick it underneath a UV lamp to try and get rid of that frosting on his head there. But I think it pretty easily gets an 80 grade, if I had to guess, just judging by the condition of the blister and the card back alone. The card back is immaculate. That's a really nice example. And we've seen a number of Luke Stormtroopers here that have sold lately, both loose graded as well as on the card, that have sold for big money. So to me, $900 is right in line with market, if not below market. So congrats whoever grabbed that one. Thanks as always for watching. That's all I have for this video. Please leave a like, and I'll be back soon.